Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, yeah. Went down to the front. We got the new girl at work, right? Walked in the front door. I wasn't going to say nothing either. Wasn't going to say nothing there, still haven't. I'm going to tell you, the place smells like weed. A lot of weed. Like a pot head into our building. Every day I go down there and I get a contact high. I'm telling you. Something's going on downstairs. I feel like we went into the weed business. And this ain't good. Because we're pilots. That's not good. Like, that's not going to be a good look on us. So I ain't said nothing because I figured, these young kids are into stuff. They got them lip pillows. It ain't like tobacco when I was a kid. Put this stuff in, you get all the charm of the nicotine without having to spit in a bottle. I'd say that's a win for humanity. I've been letting it go for a while. I hadn't popped my top yet. My girl comes over here yesterday and she said, "Honey, you've got dry skin. You need to try this." She handed me a bottle of this. Not an ad. I ain't trying to sell this. I'm just telling you. Put that on. Smell like your pot dealer in college, like that. It happens immediately. All of a sudden, yeah, I smelled like a skunk. My neighbors are all like, "What's he doing?" I'm going to have to change churches. I keep wearing this stuff. But I'm going to tell you, it does make me remarkably smooth. And no, I don't have a code to put on it. You know why? Because I don't care. I ain't trying to sell nothing. I'm just telling you, if you want to smell like a pothead, if you want to smell like you did 2 to 5 in the 90s, at bare minimum got caught once or twice for holding, then you definitely want to try it. Now I feel better I didn't pop off at the mouth about why the new employee smells like she's dealing weed out the back door. Turns out she's just got real soft skin. But I can't ask about that or mention it either. Otherwise, it's a violation of a different sort now, isn't it? So now I've just got to act like I don't know and like I'm not in on it. How about an update? I don't want to say I'm a genius, but right here on yesterday's show, what'd I say? Exactly. I said the Seahawks were going to win that game. And they did. Now, that was one of the most boring Super Bowls in the history of time. It was awful. I'm telling you what. It's embarrassing. That was the worst game I've ever seen. It was terrible. Maybe not the worst I've ever seen, but the worst on that kind of stage. That was just awful. Now, we were blessed with some really good playoff games, so I'm not really complaining. I'm more or less just saying what I know you're thinking if you watch that game. Unless you're a Seattle fan, and then you're all like, "He's a fool. That boy don't know what he's talking about." No, you're right. My perspective would be changed if I was a Seattle fan. My perspective would certainly be clouded if I were a Patriots fan too. Turns out I'm not. I was on the fence. I'm just saying the game was boring, but I'm glad if your team won and you're a Seahawks fan, good for you. See, I'm raw right now. I don't care about you Seahawks. I care about the $100 that I was fleeced of. Someone took advantage of my girl's good nature. Talked her into gambling away her inheritance. I believe this should be something we need to talk about. We're down $100. And at this point, here's what I know. Last time I made a big boy bet at $25 and lost it on the Super Bowl. Thank you, Eli Manning. Thank you, Tom Brady. The next time in my house that we lose money on betting is because of the Patriots. Don't tell me I got a gambling problem. Those are clearly a distance. And we're out a total of $125. Relax. I'm still going to be able to keep my washer payments on time, so I ain't going to have dirty clothes. Calm down. Get all in my finances. Drake May, if there's any possibility, if you know Drake, reach out to him. Because right this minute, I feel like him. Or if you know Bob, reach out to Bob Kraft and just be like, "Hey, bro, y'all owe Bud and his girl $100. If you both want to chip in, that's great. 50-50. I don't care. But I don't want to carry this taste." In fact, no, that's not right at all. How about this? Drake May, you're on the hook for me for $100 because that's what you owe my girl. But Mr. Kraft, you owe me $25 for the last time y'all flaked on my bet. So right now, I believe that maybe it is a gambling problem and I need to stop gambling on you. Maybe that's where it's at. But either way, if y'all could send back my money, I'd feel good about that. I'm also happy we have the Olympics. Those are good times. Now, speaking of the game that sucked, and I'm not going to talk about the game, but I am going to talk about Pepsi. Did you see Pepsi trying to jump up on Coke's polar bear tradition? Like that was going to be some kind of good marketing plan? I know in a boardroom somewhere that sounded clever. Someone who immediately on Sunday evening dusted their resume and hit monsterjobs.com because it didn't end as clever. Because hijacking all of the work that Coke put into those bears, Pepsi, marketing don't work like that. You spend a lot of money to promote Coca-Cola's what happened. Because the minute I saw that bear, guess what I didn't see anymore? Pepsi. That's a huge mistake. Y'all, that's marketing 101. Like that stuff, that's a mistake that rookies don't even make. I mean, that's just huge. The bear isn't just a mascot. The bear is tied up around all of the emotions for the Coca-Colas that I've seen drank over this many decades. Bro, you can't come in and hijack that. I remember the Bears commercials when I was a kid, and I'm no longer a spring chicken. Memories from my daddy and my granddaddy and my uncle and my uncles before that. I got memories everywhere. Maybe not that many uncles ago. I'm not good at family stuff. It's not really my thing. That's not what I didn't sign on to do that. I'm a strategic communications guy and I do weather. I don't really follow family trees. If I pick that up as a hobby, well, I'll let you know. If I hop on 23andMe, well, you'll be the first to know. You can't steal decades of all of those feelings. So Pepsi, you paid millions of dollars to remind me how much I liked Coca-Cola. Thank you for bringing back the warmth that Coca-Cola hasn't captured in a moment. That would be like renting a billboard and then putting your ex-girlfriend's high school senior picture on it. And then they leaned into the blind tests. Come on now. You got a blind polar bear? I know, even blindfolded polar bears in a laboratory prefer Pepsi over Coke. Here's the problem. We don't drink in laboratories. We drink at cookouts. We drink at Easter when we're searching for eggs with our kids. That's when we drink this product. That's when Coca-Cola bakes its way into our society. It's part of our culture. We didn't choose it like we choose a phone charger. We chose it like we chose a football team. We're in this now. We made decisions. Pepsi once told us it was the choice of a new generation. We put our foot in the sand and said, I don't know, is it? Some people went Pepsi's way, some people went Coke's way. But either way, you made a choice in those days. And I'm going to tell you something else, Pepsi. I don't understand what you're doing. Coca-Cola is the winner. You're not beating that. Like, that's not happening. You spent a lot of money chasing that dream. It's not happening. So get out of the game. You're fine being a second place runner in that. Stop dumping money into that hole in the water. Let's patch it up. Put your money in Mountain Dew. Coca-Cola can't touch that. They have been looking for anything that will take that much, just a small percentage of the share that Pepsi has with Mountain Dew. They don't have it. You wouldn't give Mellow Yellow to the people you don't like. Coca-Cola knows that. They know you're not going to drink that garbage. Wild Cherry Pepsi, they know you're not going to drink that. Come on, guys. You don't need to advertise, and you're good with that one because you don't spend any money on that one. Spend money on what you got. You got Mountain Dew. Nothing tells a hillbilly that it's time for a gathering like a Mountain Dew. And if you put it with a little Jack Daniels, you'll be happy. You'll be happy for a while. It's good stuff. Market what you got. Race what you brought to the track. And the marketing lesson here for Pepsi is that confusion always goes to the leader. the one with the history, the one put the work in. So like I said earlier, congratulations, Pepsi. You spent a fortune reminding me how much I truly love Coca-Cola. Nice. So every year we talk about what? We'll talk about at work, or the next conversations about the Super Bowl we're going to have are going to be probably about the commercials, the game first. In this case, that was a dud, takes 2 seconds. Then to the commercials, right? And then to the halftime show. And the halftime show is always perplexing to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've seen many a halftime show, and I don't mean just a few. I mean a lot. I mean, I've been on this Super Bowl ride since the early 70s. Since like 1975, I remember my first Super Bowls. So I've been on this dance for a minute. And I've been hearing the same thing since we started adding music to the halftime show. If I'm interested, my parents are not on any level. If my parents are interested, I am not on any level. As we jump into the Let's Plan the Super Bowl in its entirety, in the halftime show, let's find music that's going to appeal to what? I don't know. I don't know, because 8 to 80 is not really a demographic. It's more like a hostage negotiation, isn't it? Thereby the problem. You can't meet all needs. Grandma likes hillbilly music. Meanwhile, your niece, she likes pop. Then you got your cousin Eddie, and he likes stuff that sounds like it was made in a garage at 2 a.m. But they all have different tastes. You can't make everyone happy. That's not going to happen. So I already started looking into next year's Super Bowl odds. The number one is Miley Cyrus. Now that's an interesting line, because you have both your pop fans, I mean, it's a climb, but both your pop fans and you're going to have your country fans because of the Dolly connection and the Billy Ray connection. So that's probably as close anymore to a universal choice as you're going to get, given the Disney fame too. Maybe that's the overwhelming odds-on favorite right this minute. I was looking at some of the people on the list. She's number one. Cardi B is also is a good bet right this minute. Taylor Swift's a good bet this minute, but I think you pull that money out. I don't think that's smart for Taylor Swift. I see how Cardi B wins. I'm not sure Taylor Swift does. Along with football and all of the exposure that she gets with the Chiefs connection, she's super smart. Her and her parents and her management team figured out real early in her life cycle that we don't want to Hootie and the Blowfish the place. We don't want to get so popular and so overdone that people don't want to talk about us anymore. So what she does is heavy promote when we're doing albums and tours. When we're not, we stay away. We don't do things. And if we're going to do a movie, we do that, but we don't do a tour that year because we don't want to overexpose. Very smart. Well played. That's how you establish a career and you keep it going. It's not that hard to figure out. She's very good at it. I don't think the scrutiny that you have to go through to assume that particular job in America is worth it. Because there's way too many generations of people in the same room, and the people that like you aren't going to win. The people that don't like you, there's going to be way more, no matter how it plays out. Lil Wayne's on there, A$AP Rocky, the Biebs. They're looking at Drake maybe, and Ariana Grande. All interesting choices. I'm not hating on any of them. But back in the day, we had a show on Fox, and Fox was trying to work their way, as I recall, and this is revisionist history, so I'm not saying I get this 100% correct. I may be messing this up. In fact, I may be so far from correct on this. I'm telling you up front, though, I'm not trying to appear a historian, but I think this is the way this went down. This is the outside edge of when Fox is really trying to really crush it in football. And they were the odd people out because they had really just put money in things, and that was about all they had started putting money in. Because their evening shows never were up to par, really. They had The Simpsons, they had a couple other shows, but nothing real until they became Fox NFL Sundays. And that changed everything because on Sunday night when folks would head to bed, or Sunday afternoon, they might turn off the TV in the garage. Well, it's still on Fox when they turn it back on, and that hadn't been the case before because The Simpsons still weren't garnering near those kind of numbers. So Fox is finally on the scene. They had a show, In Living Color was the title, and on that show, you may remember it, well, let's take a trip and sip on a drink. It's a cast for laughs and something else I don't remember, but that was the opening. J-Lo was part of the Fly Girls that were on that show. You go back, you get the Wayans brothers out of there. You'll also get Jim Carrey off of that show. There was a lot of talent on that show. Not a little bit of talent, a lot of talent. It was doing a Saturday Night Live type show, and they were doing it in those type of bits and pieces. A couple of minutes to the commercial break, 3 minutes. You might do 2 bits in this segment and go to the commercial break. It was an easy pattern to follow, and it was just funny for the sake of being funny. It really wasn't designed as political for the most part. I'm sure there were some overtones in some of the bits. It was a big show. So what they did to compete with the Super Bowl's halftime show is they brought that show and did a live deal during the exact countdown time that the Super Bowl broadcast was going to have. And on the screen, they showed you in the corner a countdown clock, which was incredibly cool. So we as a group, and I was in my young 20s when this all went down, and I remember being at this party and we were watching the Super Bowl and we were in this dude named Catfish's garage. That's right. I was in a dude named Catfish's garage with 150 other people. Yeah. It's probably not going to shock you that we were shooting off plastic explosives earlier that evening. That shouldn't come as a shock either. No, it should not. Because the man's name's Catfish. Let me tell you something else about this man. He had an elevator to go to the second level in his house. Nobody has that in the 80s. He did. You know why? Because his name's Catfish. That's exactly why. Catfish has parties. He had lots of them. And I was at this particular one. There were 3 or 4 kegs, those kind of parties. There's 100, 150, 200 people milling about. There are oysters for a shucking. There are shrimp everywhere. How do you like it? 38 different ways. It was an eating and the game zone. There were big screens around. Nobody had big screens then. Catfish did. You know why? Again, because his name's Catfish. So we all were able to watch the game in ways we couldn't watch it at our home during that time. We didn't have cell phones. So what else were we going to do? Nothing. We were going to watch TV. That's what we did back then. It ain't like now. Now you're trying to watch a game. Next thing you know, you got the game on or you're watching your show, you got your phone up and you're scrolling on it, looking up back and forth. I read some stuff the other day that said when you're watching TV now, it's only getting about 10% of your real estate. So if this is you, don't think you're weird. If you're sitting on your couch, watching TV, listening to a podcast, scrolling on your phone, you're not weird. You're the norm. That's what all of the broadcast companies are running into right this very minute. Now, the In Living Color thing was so remarkable because everyone screamed, switch it now. So they baked it into it, and they weren't a big enough network to do that, and we did not have social media. I don't know how they did it. I do not remember. My guess is they bought advertising time on radio. I don't know that. Whatever they did, it worked because we all switched over. It wasn't a political message. It wasn't about any of that. It was about being funny. That was it. So the reaction to this particular year's push from Turning Point to put on a secondary show for the Super Bowl seems shocking to me. I realize for the idealist and the people who don't agree with that side or whatever, that's fine. But the shock seemed to be that y'all were worried about them having a secondary show for halftime. And all I'm saying is we've already done that, and it's been done for a long time. I mean, there's dog shows and all kind of stuff that happened during halftime, during those minutes. So it's nothing new. In fact, what I'm going to propose may come as a shock to you. But I say we stop with this one-size-fits-all halftime show. I think we got to give people options. Think about this. Now, I know you're going to say, wait a minute, what about the commercials and all the money and they're never going to do it? Well, think about this. The Super Bowl is going to be on what? NBC, CBS, ABC, or Fox, right? That's it. I don't think ESPN gets a turn. I think they're part of the ABC family. I could be wrong, and if I am, I apologize. Either way, it rotates across the networks. Each of these networks has 10 to 12 other networks. So what they could do is create halftime shows for everyone. That way, you don't have grandma wanting to see Billy Ray Cyrus and daddy wanting to see Bad Bunny and us trying to make the combination somewhere. It doesn't work. So, perhaps, maybe we do something like this. Maybe CMT runs a hillbilly halftime show. Country gets 25% of the nation, so strap on some boots. We'll throw on some tunes. Next thing you know, and you can do this on the cheap too because you don't have to have live concerts. You can grab pieces of live shows, mix in crowds and everything else and football stuff, and before long it's an edited piece. You know how many minutes it is, you're guaranteed to get them back. You put the clock in the bottom right-hand corner or left-hand corner, and we just watch like it's magic, like we didn't know it was going to work out on time. You could have CMT doing their show, BET could do theirs, different folks, different vibe, same result. People get what they want. You could have other channels, like the History Channel. 12 minutes, dude explains the Roman Empire while holding a sword. That's a good time right there. I'll watch that. I mean, I ain't hating on Bad Bunny or nothing, but if on the Weather Channel, they had a live 12-minute performance of Kenny G playing a saxophone while it snowed, yeah, probably gonna do that. Especially if Jim Cantori's giving the weather. Sure, gonna watch that. Sorry, not gonna sit through Bad Bunny for that. What if Animal Planet had like a live concert with goats and whatnot, and they just played some really cool music behind it? Huh? You might watch that. You might be more inclined to watch that than whoever they're gonna bring next year, J. Cole or Drake or somebody. What if the Food Network had an aggressive chef on there chopping up stuff? It's halftime, just yelling and whatnot. You might want to watch that. Maybe they get the whole meal done in 12 minutes. Maybe they don't. TV, you got a couple on there screaming at each other for 12 minutes over the color of the backsplash. You know how that goes. That's an argument right there. Film it, show it live, 12 minutes. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to give it a run. I'm going to tape all these. Did he say tape? Well, yeah, he said it. Discovery Channel got their own halftime show. They got a dude in a really weird beard showing you how he made drums out of tractor parts. I'm going to watch that. We'll give that a run. National Geographic got their own halftime show. Slow motion cheetah running. Got a British guy narrating the whole thing. The cheetah migrates across the desert. Because he whispers, you know how they do? He just scallops like he has somewhere to be. He's going somewhere to eat a chicken or whatever gets in his path. Maybe it's a human. We don't know. I love those shows. My all-time favorite, ever since Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Yeah, I'm going to watch. Of course I'm going to watch. Travel Channel, 12 minutes in a haunted hotel. Nothing's going to happen in 12 minutes, but everybody on the show is going to be scared to death. I'm going to sit through that. Fishing Channel, 2 men sitting in a boat, casting, nodding every now and again. Cooking Channel, got a lady frosting a cake, a little jazz music in the background. I'll sit and watch that for 12 minutes. I mean, I didn't understand anything that happened in the Bad Bunny show. I guess I'm awful human, but I just didn't understand it. That's okay. I'm all right with that. I ain't complaining. But I do like cake. See? Selling the microphone that was used during the halftime show for 12 minutes. They can get like an auction. And if you pay $39.99 extra, they're going to throw in a backup dancer. That's good times right there. Halftimes are tough. I wouldn't want to book that. I wouldn't have wanted to be Jay-Z in that situation. Now, most other situations, I'll be okay with being Jay-Z. He's got everything in the world twice. So, okay. But picking that, I wouldn't want to pick that. You can't make everybody happy. It's not fair to Jay-Z, and it's not fair to the NFL to keep trying. It's a fool's errand. Pick somebody that you like, and then give all the other channels on that same network family an opportunity to show different stuff. That could be cool. And you build in all those brands. Everyone still gets the same commercials, so everybody's happy. Roger Goodell's good. We keep NFL. Maybe you keep a picture-in-picture at the bottom that shows what's going on in the field. Maybe if they want to switch back, maybe if in the middle of the next whomever Bad Bunny show is going to be, Diana Ross shows up, and next thing you know, Grandma's like, switch it back. I don't know, but you want to be prepared. I understand that. Okay, there's no way. I don't have time for TSA or Chipotle. I'll get to those tomorrow. Thanks for the time. I'm still working on the lighting. I know I don't have it 100% right. I'm working on the shorts and where I'm at in position to where all the stuff's at, and I'm trying to get it figured out. Thank you so much for helping me grow the channel. It's really cool. It's amazing to watch. And I'm very appreciative. I'm at Bud Ford Comedy, and I know that, and so do you, because it's above my head.